In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about infusing herbs and edible florals into more of an infusion, say in vodka or even in simple syrups if you don't want the alcohol. Sometimes you want those herbal flavors, but you don't really necessarily want the bits of herb or the bits of floral. You just want those soft undertones. And so there's ways in which you could do that. We're going to do that today. I'm going to show you. It's really, really easy. Let's get started.
Okay, I had to move to the dining room because my husband is making tomatillo salsa and he needs the kitchen and I'm going to be in his way and he's all grumpy, so I'm going to show you some stuff in the dining room. Honestly, it doesn't matter where you make extracts as long as you've got a surface that, in case you spill something, you cover it up, you protect your surface. So I'm in the dining room, I have just a little tablecloth here. And so for extracts, all you need is a jar that you've sterilized or run through the dishwasher with super, super hot water. This is an old jelly jar. And pay attention to how much you can hold in your jar. This has 10 ounces. So you got to do a little math. Because with extracts, you're looking for really, really strong flavor, which means that it sits on your counter for 4 to 6 weeks. And the key to making your extract is a little bit more organic material that needs to sit in there. You can use dry too. The rule of thumb for fresh is 1 part herbal material and or floral and 3 part liquor. And I prefer to use just vodka. But some people use like Everclear or something like that. But you want some liquor that doesn't have its own flavor profile, and vodka's pretty clean. But don't use the good stuff. The good stuff is for martinis and good drinking. So this is just a cheapo, probably pretty decent. I like that it was distilled and made in the USA, so that's important. So we're going to use this, and you've got your jar, your nice clean jar, and I'm going to use fresh. If you use dry, it's more like 5 parts liquor, 1 part dry organic material. But I prefer to use fresh, and so today I'm going to make a basil extract. So here we've got 10 ounces, all right, 10 ounces that you can fit in your jar. So I've measured about 2.5, 3 ounces of basil. And what you do, you can chop it up. I prefer to tear it up. I just roughly tore up my basil. Sorry for the noise. The tomatillo salsa is being made. Yummo. And you could also chop it. But what you want to do when you kind of rip up or chop up your organic material here is that you're releasing a lot of the oils and the juice and all that good stuff. And you're going to put it into your jar. And it's kind of the same technique for even making your own vanilla extract, which I have some friends that make their own vanilla extract. And they kind of keep it on their shelf, and as it gets lower, they keep that vanilla bean in there, and they just keep filling it with more and more alcohol. What you do then is you just fill up Now, I did read one woman online where she really does it for more medicinal purposes, and she puts a little bit of saran wrap right here and then caps it. I'm not that militant. I'm kind of a, whatever. And you just give it a good shake. Make sure it's at the top. And you store it on the counter in a cool, dry place. And every once in a while, give it a good shake, and you let it sit there for 4 to 6 weeks. What happens then is you take a fine mesh sieve and you find a bottle that you want to keep the extract in, and you also either sterilize it or run it through the dishwasher with super, super hot water, and you run this through a sieve, and then store it into your bottle and cap it and label it, and it is good for quite a while in your cupboard. And it's great to have that nice fresh basil flavor any time of the year. So give it a try. Super easy. So this is like super easy. We've got like a nice clean, and if you'd like, you could sterilize it in just some hot boiling water for a little bit and then dry it off. Just a little jar. And you've got just granulated sugar. I have also read that you could use powdered sugar. This technique you can also infuse into cocoa. In the book, I have a recipe for some tarragon truffles, and part of that recipe is to infuse some goodies into the cocoa. So you can infuse a lot of these dried herbs into lots of kind of dried ingredients that you can store and then have at the ready. So for about a cup of sugar, which this might be, actually, what are we talking about here? I don't know what that means. I'm going to guess it's a cup. So let's just guess it's a cup. About a teaspoon of dried. You can also use fresh. What I would suggest with fresh, though, just like with my rose, Palagorium, I don't like keeping the fresh organic material in there too long. I'm just a little bit nervous about things going bad. So if you're going to use fresh lavender, definitely keep it there for 2 weeks, shake it up. But, you know, pull it out, run it through a sieve, and then store the sugar. And the oils will have infused already in there. So let me grab a teaspoon, and I'll be back. Okay, so I took a teaspoon, and I sprinkled some lavender, and as you can see, I went midway. So I filled with sugar, put the lavender in the middle. As you can see here, lavender sugar, and it's dried. So we can keep this, and actually I can keep the lavender in here. But again, if you don't like those bits of lavender and you don't want to have to deal with picking them out when you want to use your sugar, you know, keep this on the counter for 2 weeks, and maybe even 3 if you really want it a little stronger. Shake it up every once in a while, and then once it's done, run it through a sieve, fine mesh sieve, and then store that sugar back into a clean jar and label it, and also remember a date, because you don't want things to get old, and that should work. And I would especially recommend pulling stuff out if you're using fresh, just to be safe. So lavender sugar is great, like I said, in lemonade, in cookies, in tea, and this can work with lots and lots of things. Like I said, don't forget the cocoa. You could do fun things with cocoa too. So that's what we have. Hopefully you're inspired to use some florals and herbs in your desserts and sweets. And if I've intrigued you enough, I hope you get the book Savoring Sweet on Kindle and Nook, and what's the other one? iBooks, and some other ones. I'm sure you'll find it. Savoring Sweet. Flora Caputo, Urban Domestic Diva, thanks for your support, and get cooking.